Welcome to the Investor Unite podcast, where we talk all things business, real estate, and entrepreneurship.
If you're looking to ignite your real estate investing, then please hit that subscribe button and tune in every week where we'll bring you some educational videos and be a part of our family.
Yeah, so for today's episode, we're going to be talking about how we acquired our 5-unit apartment building. So our first commercial building, which is super exciting.
Yep.
And the headaches that come along with it, the good things that come along with it, and kind of just give a full-on rundown.
Yes, I mean, this property has definitely had its ups and downs so far. Granted, this is only our second rental property that we've ever purchased.
Yep.
And for it being a 5-unit commercial building, that's pretty impressive, honestly.
Yeah, super exciting. So we got this back in June
Early
of
June.
this year, so 2023.
Yep.
I guess we can kind of go through like the beginning of like how we got the deal first.
How we got the lead.
So this lead came from texting. I
Yep.
remember that. So I think Amira was off that day for texting. Like I don't know if she was sick or something.
Yeah.
And then
I remember I was actually at work and I saw the notification pop through my phone, and I was like 165 5-unit. I was like, and then I think in his exact text, it was like tired landlord
price,
cash price or cash offer or something like that.
Yeah, and sellers don't do that.
No, I was like, this has to be a scam. Like, didn't even think it was real, and I think we let it go for like a day or two because, like you said, Amira, our cold caller, was off. And then
I was taking over. So, like, I was texting.
Yeah.
And I was going back and forth because I thought he was just playing around. So I looked up, like, public records. So I was like, okay, I saw he bought it during this time. Let's see if he is legit.
Yeah,
so
actually.
I asked him, I was like, so how long have you owned it? And then I think he was like 18 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shoot, this could be something.
Yeah. So, no, it was very exciting. I mean, we looked it up on Zillow, and of course they always have their estimate. It showed that it was roughly a little over 500,000. You're like 165. Like, this thing has to be damn near condemned.
Run
like, just
down.
about. Yeah, it's got to be completely dilapidated. So you set up an appointment with the
Actually,
seller.
Amira. So Amira set up the appointment, and it was for me. So it was like during the day. So I went on the appointment, but I still felt like skeptical because I don't know if this guy was just trying to like get us in to maybe hurt us or something.
You never know when you're going on these kind of appointments.
Yeah.
Like what kind of character you're gonna run into.
And you have to be super like safe about it because like you said, we don't know.
Yeah. And granted, I mean, it is in the city of Harrisburg, but it's actually, I mean, the uptown area, which is far better than if you're going to, Berry Hill kind of locations or Crescent, that location.
I felt like so skeptical of going on this appointment. I took my mom with me.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So she pulled up, I pulled up, and she was with me. And then I texted the seller, I was like, I'm here, and so on and so forth. And then met with him. He came out. She just sat in the car. And then we walked the building, and as we were walking, I was like, oh, shoot, this guy's actually serious.
Yeah, he was an older gentleman too, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, pretty much he laid it on the line. He was like, I'm a tired landlord. I bought this property 18 years ago, and I don't have property management.
Yeah.
He's like, I've pretty much done all the work myself. I still come back every week to mow the yard myself, and he's probably roughly 70 years old. I don't know exactly, but...
I don't know. And the thing too, like he knew, he was like, are you guys trying to wholesale this property? Which we were actually like, we wanted to buy, like we were trying to build a rental portportfolio.
Yeah,
so like he knew about wholesaling. He knew about the business. He knew that this was a good deal for anyone that was going to take, the property on.
Of course. So no, I mean, you went on your appointment, you kind of got back to me. You're like, yo, like you called me. I was at Giuseppe's house, my one friend. And you're like, we got to talk over these numbers real quick. I was like, okay. I was like, so how bad is it, right?
Yeah.
You're like, no, like it's fine.
Yeah, like we don't need to renovate it. There was just one vacant unit, so we didn't have to.
Right, exactly.
Mind you, the one unit I walked, I saw roaches.
Yeah.
And it's sad because like it was little kids living there and stuff, but like roaches in the bathroom, on the floors.
I remember the first time that we went, we had to introduce ourselves. Like we're working for the new owners of the property, and they opened up the door, and all I saw was little like a 6-year-old kid still just walking around in like a diaper, and like there was just bugs crawling everywhere. There was a dirty mattress around the middle of the living room floor where they were sleeping. Like it was just. You could tell, like, not very well.
We're getting ahead of ourselves, though.
Not very well maintained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
Going back to like, after like we were talking on the phone, we still weren't sure like if this was the deal because with it being a commercial building, you have to run numbers completely different from
Right.
a
You
residential
can't use
building.
like just comparables.
Right.
It's all based off of that cap rate.
Yep. So, and what we could, build the income to. So, like, what the current,
What kind of value add opportunities we could add to the property.
like
Right.
current rent's going for versus what we can make the pro forma.
Right. And before this, we always dealt with residential. We never really did commercial. We did have that one property in Mount Wolf, but that was a completely different scenario.
Yeah.
And it was commercial, not because of the number of units, just because of the actual type of property.
Right.
So this is kind of all new to us. And I believe while I was at Giuseppe's house, you're like, okay, like we haven't really dealt with this before. We're not too familiar with how to run cap rates, what our cap rate should look like, and what our potential rents are. Like we could do that part on our own.
Yeah.
So you called up our mentor Dom and Adam.
Shout out to Dom.
Shout out to Dom, the man.
Yeah, he was like, if y'all don't just buy this property, right?
I know, he was just like on it immediately. He had like a couple questions for us, like what's the price, what's his motivation,
Yeah.
is it rented out, what are the rents, and then we pretty much laid it out on the line, and all the rents were way below market.
Right. It was like what the lowest was It was 525. Was that right? It was one of them was in the fives, and then the rest were like in the 600s.
Yeah.
And
I think the highest was the guy who's actually on the lease.
was
year
that
term.
750
750.
or 750?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to say it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but no, everybody else, they were around like that 650 mark on average.
Yeah.
So we're like, market rents. I mean, the building itself is one large building. It's broken up to, it has 2 units on each side. So
2 units and
downstairs,
then 3
upstairs,
units on the other.
and then, well, yeah.
I
was
know
just
what you're
from
saying.
The actual and then the middle is up
A
down
unit.
right?
Yeah.
Because there's a first and second floor on that.
Right.
And every unit is a 2-bed, 1-bath. The middle unit just has a couple more square footage, extra closet. Who knows? So we were looking at it, and we were going based off of, current market rents for a 2-bed, 1-bath in the area.
Yeah.
And I think we were roughly seeing like 1,100-ish.
Around that.
Right. And we had already made this decision prior with the 18th Street property that we were going to go Section 8 with that, just to try it out. And it was our first rental, and we wanted that guaranteed income. So we kind of had a discussion of whether or not we wanted to do Section 8 in this building because it's in a little bit nicer of an area,
Right.
or if we should just go back
Just do
to
market.
typical, market tenants. After looking at the numbers, we believe that Section 8 was definitely the better option.
Yeah.
We did get some experience from the 18th Street, realizing that the amount that the government
They
is
show
willing
online.
to pay is not the actual amount that you're going to get.
Yeah.
Because I believe for the 3-bed, 1-bath, it was like $1,885 a month.
Yeah.
Something like that. $1,850 something. Who
And we're
knows?
only getting $1,375.
We're getting $1,375.
Right.
And that's because they go based off of the other comps in the area for rent.
Exactly.
Right. It's still plenty good.
Very
though.
thankful just because
Yeah.
we're gonna get that every single
Yeah, we
time.
actually just got our first paycheck there.
Yeah, so
that was-
super exciting.
That was exciting.
And
So
another
ahead.
thing I wanted to point out, so like when we called Dom on the phone, he was like, "What price are you getting it at?" We're like 165. So
Yeah.
okay, we do 165, divide that by how many doors there are, which is 5 doors. So we're at 33,000. I believe it's 33,000
so,
a
yeah.
door. And we're trying to negotiate because sometimes with sellers, like you don't want to just give them the price they're asking
because then they think that they're giving too good of a deal.
Exactly.
Right.
So he was like, "All right, come in and tell them like
I think you
see
said
if
like
you can buy it
150.
at like 28 a door or
Yeah.
something like that." And that's such a good like marketing point
Yeah.
because instead of saying you're going to offer, let's say 130,
Yeah.
just do like
Like
if
a
you
couple
say
thousand off of each unit.
off a door, it
Yeah.
looks like you're
Right.
not losing as much.
Exactly.
So I did try that like after, we had our conversation with Dom.
Right.
He was like, make that offer. So I went on the phone, made the offer to the seller of like that lower price below 165.
Yep.
And he's like basically saying, you already know you're getting a deal.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Like that's like you mentioned before. I mean, he was familiar with wholesaling and kind of everything real estate related.
Right.
So he already knew that 165 price was like a no. Like
Yeah.
that.
He already knew. Yeah. So I was like, all right. So I think on that phone call, we agreed at the 165 and then agreed to meet again. And that second time we met, I brought the agreement and the thing too. So when I brought that agreement and we were in the one unit kind of going over everything, he was like, oh, just, let's do it another time. He was trying to push it off.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know what I said, but like I was like, nah, we're getting this done today.
Yeah. Nah,
Because I know when they push it off, they're never gonna sign.
exactly. Yeah.
Right. So
You have to be like persistent.
yeah, we got that thing signed. I was so excited. I think that was the most excitement I had for a deal, just because it's
Yeah.
a commercial building.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah.
that was a huge step to building our rental portfolio because we went from 0 units to at the end of May we closed on our first 2 unit, and then the beginning of June, like a week or 2 weeks later,
Yeah.
we're now under contract on a 5 unit. So we went from 0 to 7 units in a
in
matter of
17 days.
17 days.
Yeah.
Like actually crazy.
It's insane.
It
At
is.
23 years old.
23 years old.
Yeah.
I was actually still 22 at that time, but now I'm 23.
Yeah.
So yeah, we like you said, the 1 unit was already vacant.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, I mean, we have the property under contract. We know what rents are able to go for. We know we talked to Dom, kind of discussed cap rate. Do you want to go into that a little bit and how we figured out what the after repair value of this building would be?
Yeah. So in regards to, like we said, commercial buildings, the property value all depends on what the income it brings.
Right.
So ours was bringing in a pretty low amount, once we bought it.
Yeah.
And what we did literally from the jump, everyone's going to have different opinions about this, but since the rents were so low, below market value, we did raise the rent $100. But first we went to each tenant. We kind of came across as the property manager and
Which is true.
asked, like, what we kind of told them, this is what market value is going for.
Yeah, we showed them.
This is what you're paying.
Here's a comparable.
Yeah. Like, what could you guys do?
Right. I saw the strategy on the bigger pockets, and I think you did as well. So we both kind of let's just go with this up to the tenants, have them basically bump up their own rent. And see what
So
be
they
comfortable
told
with.
us, like, this is what we can do. And we're like, okay, let's
exactly.
do this.
We didn't really fight them on it or anything.
Yeah.
We're like, so let's say that the tenant was at $650 a month. We showed them like, hey, this place right next door, the same size and same condition as yours, is going for $995 a month.
Right.
Like, where do you think a fair price for you would be? And a lot of them just go up like $100, or, some of them were like, well, like, I don't know, like, what do you guys really want? Or like, if you just go up $100, like, I think
we'll talk to the team about it,
will
see
be-
what the landlord wants.
owners will be happy.
Yeah.
So we went with that strategy. It worked out well. We did have apartment number 3. So we did go to him, had the same strategy. He agreed to go up. He was at $650 previously. He went up to $750.
But we did not charge.
We did not ever charge him, no.
Yeah.
Because later on that day, like after we got done having this conversation with him, we saw his unit a little bit more, understood the condition and what kind of...
And I think it was like running our numbers more,
Yeah.
just kind of seeing like where we need to be and how long will it take for us to get there, like how many units do we need to renovate at a time, so on and so forth. And out of all the units, I was like, we have to take care of this one first because the roaches, the bugs, I was like, no. Like,
well, by take care of, do you mean take care of by getting rid of the tenant or renovating?
Well,
not like in a bad way.
You kind of have to remove the tenant to renovate, but also like this is like a big thing, like with all the bugs that was in that unit.
Yeah, definitely.
And having kids in there,
it was not safe for them.
Some people are like, you need to call the
Child Protective Services.
Yeah, just because of how serious it was.
Yeah.
So I feel like we did the right thing. Like, it's tough. Hopefully they're in a better place now. I'm not sure where they're at.
So I had a conversation with them actually right before we ended up going to court to go through the whole eviction process and everything.
Yeah, we had to go to court for this whole thing. It was all new to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, the court process. That was something in itself.
It was interesting. But beforehand, so I had the conversation with the guy's daughter. I'm not going to say her name.
Yeah.
And she came out and she was like, listen, like, this is really the kind of style that he's living in. Like, if it were just me and my husband on our own, like, we would not be living these kind of conditions.
Yeah.
And she's the one that also had the kid. So that was his grandbaby because this was his daughter.
Yeah.
And they're like, so we've been trying, because we gave him a notice, like,
30-day notice.
I think it was like June 19th we gave them the notice.
Yeah.
Right. And so they had to be out by, I think we had it July 31st or July 30th or something like that. Yeah, a little over 30 days. We're like, hey, listen, like, I understand it does take some time, especially in this market, to go out and find another property and move into. So we're going to give you a solid 30 days and just a little bit more. But we really needed you guys to, evict so we can come in here and actually fix up and make it livable again.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was just telling me, like, this is not what I'd be living in. Like, we've been trying to find a place forever. I don't know what he's doing. He
Right.
referring to her father. And we're like, okay, like, just we'll keep an eye out for other units for you guys. Like, just try to help you out throughout this process, because I know, like I said, it can be difficult.
Right.
So court date finally comes. Well, so we get to July 30th, 31st.
Past the 30-day notice, and then they're still there.
They're still there.
Yeah.
And so I go up again. I'm asking them, like, hey, like, are you guys planning on moving out? Like,
Still.
I don't really know how to go about this because it's like the whole first time.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, do I be strict with them and like put my hammer down? Am I like, should I be lenient so they don't go and mess up the unit even more? Like, I wasn't really sure.
Right.
But no, I mean, in respects to them, they did not trash it any more than it already was.
Right.
Which,
so very thankful.
Thankful.
For that.
Yeah. Thank you for that. But
that's when
it came
Rob told like me, because I was asking around like other investors, like, this is the scenario we're going through. This is our first time. What should we do? Yeah. He was like, the second day, or I think he was like the first day or second day, when that 30 days is up, you need a file with the court.
Yeah. So he had a woman on his team that was able to help us out and kind of guide us through all the paperwork and just the system of going through the eviction, right?
Right.
So that was very thankful for that as well. It's nice to have all these mentors in our life that people have already done it, because
I mean, that's why networking is key.
Yeah. We're still young. We haven't been through these experiences before, so very grateful for all of that. And we got our court date in place. We had our reasonings of why they needed to go, why they had to be there.
We were like, who's speaking?
Yeah, I remember. You were like,
because everyone, there's like, it's not just you and the tenant there. It's like so many other people you don't know that's watching your court hearing.
And we were in a room probably, I don't know, maybe like 50 by 50 feet wide.
Yeah, it wasn't super big, but it was packed with people.
It was packed with people. So the point, like, people were like sitting on the floor everywhere. They didn't have enough
judge
chairs.
was just so strict.
Oh my gosh, he was strict.
I was like,
he was like this
God.
judge from another judicial office or another courtroom, and he was like, Judge so-and-so can't be here today, so I'm taking his place, and I'm from downtown, so don't mess with me.
Yeah.
Like a judge saying this.
It was something.
I was like, oh, here we go.
Thank God we didn't go first, because
we had no clue.
No clue what to say. So as people are going up, and probably like 15 people went before us.
Yeah, we were sitting there forever.
The process was so long, but as they were going up, I was like studying what they were saying.
Yep. I did the same thing.
And we were like, because only one person was going to speak. I was like, did you want to speak?
Yeah.
And then
you remember you asked me, you're like, do you want to speak? I was like, I can if you want me to. Like, I don't know.
And then I was like, all right, I'll speak.
Yeah, then you volunteered. I was like, all right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Ended up both of us were speaking at some point, because when going back over the paperwork, the judge was like, I don't see the date for this and this.
Yeah.
And I was like, sir, it's right here. He was like, come up here, show me. So I went and pointed out. He's like, oh, I do see that.
Yeah. And then the tenant was kind of saying like, oh, they were trying to raise the rent on me, and I was like, we didn't even charge you.
Yeah, like, you haven't been charged
it's like,
the past
we did talk
2.5 months that you were there.
But we haven't charged you at all. We let you live for free for...
Right, so we could have actually requested money at that court date, which
could have.
Everybody else was doing.
Yeah,
we didn't really care about that, because we kind of just, our main focus or priority was just to get them out of the building. So
yeah, because the judge asked, he was like, do you want anything from them? Do you want money? We're like, no.
Yeah.
You know, so that was...
Yeah, I mean, we try to be as fair as possible to them as well, because I know it's already going through hard times.
Yeah.
So that was definitely an experience.
It was.
So then it was, do you want to cover, like, financing? Like, how we were able to purchase the property?
Yeah, so our previous lender that did 18th Street, I reached out. I was like, hey, do you finance commercial properties as well? And he was like, not necessarily, but just tell me the numbers.
Yeah.
So I ran through the numbers with him, and he's like, all right.
It's too good of a deal to say no to.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So they did the financing and financed 100%.
Yeah.
I think the amount we brought to closing was like 500 and was it 5? No, that was the other deal.
That was the other one.
It may have been like 2 something.
Yeah.
Around that or so.
I don't remember the exact figure.
But it wasn't a lot, like $200 or something for a 5 unit.
Yeah. Actually crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we went back and figured out what our cap rate was after speaking to Dom. Started to backtrack a little bit. So we kind of had an idea of what our budget could be for this property.
I feel like there's a bug.
I think you're okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, there's butterfly. Sorry. Can we just take a second to appreciate this? Was it? That was a giant butterfly.
A little behind the scenes.
Anyways, so yeah, appreciate the nature real quick. This is a beautiful scene.
Yeah.
But So we had to figure out what our cap rate was. So we based it off of other properties in the area, kind of see what cap they were selling at.
Right.
Typically, we were seeing like between like a 7 and 8 cap in the
Yeah.
uptown location. So we ran our numbers, projected had our pro forma, so what our gross income rents would be minus our expenses to give us our NOI, our net operating income.
And then you do that monthly NOI times it by 12 to get your annual.
Yep.
And then you get your NOI, your annual NOI, divide that by 7%, which our cap rate was 7 or 8% to get the value of what the property.
Right, which at the end of the day, I think it came to just about 650,000 once. And we ended up deciding to go with the Section 8, right? Because we guaranteed income, and we're also providing housing for these lower income people, which is just a nice thing to do, right?
Yeah.
And they have so many applications coming through right now. Like,
so many.
There's a high demand for it. So that's the route we went with, and we believe that we were able to get $1,250 per unit.
Right.
Which is not, outrageous by any means.
No, with it being like completely renovated too.
Right, exactly.
Granite countertops.
So yeah,
fresh paint, hardwood floors.
So we started on unit number 4 because that's the one that was vacant when we had first purchased the property.
Yeah.
Went in there, and like you said, we pretty much redid the entire thing. We did go a little bit cheaper with the cabinets. We decided to keep the existing cabinets in that one because they weren't too bad, and our contractor was able to just go in there, kind of fix them up a little bit,
refinish, paint them,
add some new fixtures, handles, that kind of thing, hinges.
Yeah.
Made it still look very nice.
Yeah.
They're just not like the soft close or like, the really high end,
and it's a rental, so.
Exactly.
Right.
So if we were doing a fix and flip or something, like, I can understand where we would need that.
Yeah.
But not for this. And we did end up going with like the really high end counters. We did a very nice subtile on the backsplash.
Yeah.
Had our black sink, which we really liked, and kind of just all the black fixtures throughout.
Painted the whole exterior too.
Yeah. So that was something that our mentor also brought up to us, because he was like, what's really going to make this property pop and like get you that higher appraisal if you make the outside look amazing. Like inside, obviously you guys are going to do, but he was like, if you guys go ahead, do some landscaping.
Yeah.
Because we had these 2 giant tree bushes things that were
huge.
3 of them actually.
Yeah.
That are growing on the side of the building to the point you can't even see the one side.
Right.
It was completely covered. So we got those ripped out by your father. Thank you.
Shout out to my dad.
Thank you. And then had our one, not even a contractor, some guy. Did you meet him at the meetup or something?
Deshaun?
Yeah.
No. He reached out to me, and then we just got the quote from a couple of different people.
Yeah.
And we just went with him.
Yeah, I remember that. So it went really well. We ended up we were going through online just seeing like what colors we would want and everything, and we ended up going with about a medium to lighter gray on the outside.
Yeah.
With these bright yellow doors.
It makes it pop.
It does. It makes it pop.
Yeah.
It was funny because we had mixed responses on that. When you posted online, there were some people like, ew, like, why the yellow doors? Like, that looks ghetto.
Which
like,
is, it's good.
Yeah, I think it's funny. It draws the attention.
The good comments, the bad comments.
Yeah.
It's driving attention, like you said.
Exactly. So we ended up doing the whole outside, and then did a little bit of landscaping, some flowers. They all died by now, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then we fixed up the entire unit, unit 4.
Yeah.
And we got it listed for rent, going through the Public Housing Authority Association website. But what's funny about this one is we actually already had that tenant picked out prior to listing it because of her wanting the last property that we had, the 18th Street property.
And just stay connected with her.
Right, exactly. And she was a good woman. she has a small family. It's just her and her 2 kids. And she makes a good income for what she needed to be there.
Right.
And she was just, an easy choice for us to go with, basically.
Picking a tenant, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, we'll go into that in another video.
Yeah. Man, when I post that, like, my phone was blowing up. Like, if you need to find a tenant fast, just post it on Facebook Marketplace. Your phone will blow up.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So we got a tenant picked out there. She'll be moving in like a month or so.
Yeah.
Still have to go through the inspection and everything, the Section 8 inspection.
And the other downside, so like right now we're still dealing with that one unit.
Which one?
Well, when the tenants came out,
Yeah.
Of apartment 3, the one that was infested with bugs.
Yeah.
Like, guys, literally, when I walked it the first time, I was nervous that they were gonna, like, it was gonna be ruined, like holes in the wall, stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect.
Like we said, thank God they didn't do that, but bugs everywhere. Like, I literally.
Do you want to tell the story, like when you took the contractor through it?
Yeah, so I took our contractor through it. I'm not even
'Cause
gonna.
You did not play. You did not play with
I
no
was not
germs,
playing
no
games.
bugs.
Yeah. So we walked through it. I posted on like Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
And after I was like, nah, like, cause if you step on a roach, or I don't know how it is with bed bugs, but if you step on a roach, it's like their eggs go in your shoe,
Yeah.
and then it could bring
It'll, like,
roaches to
follow
your
you
house.
wherever you go.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And I'm like, nah, I
Not
ain't
playing
playing
with
that. I had my white Air Forces on.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, no
So,
chances.
Well, there was like the trash guy that was pulling up at the same time, right?
Taking our dumpster.
Yeah, and you're like, can you take these?
I was like, here you go. Started walking around in my socks.
Oh man.
Drove home in my socks. I was like, nah, no
Yeah.
chances.
That's crazy.
Mhm.
So went through, and our total budget for this project was $235,000. So $165 for the purchase plus whatever for the closing costs.
So it was like, no, wait, you said 245?
$235. Right.
I think we are at 240. 240 or 245 because we budgeted 165 for purchase, and then closing costs may have been like 5 to 7 or so, and then 65,000 for rehab, but we're probably going to go over.
Right. 'Cause
Unfortunately.
we were thinking, we didn't budget for the outside, which already
We didn't.
which was already like $6,000.
Yeah.
A little bit more actually after your dad removed the bushes and everything.
Yeah.
And then we were thinking roughly about 10,000 on each unit, except for the one that had all the roaches and bed bugs.
Right.
25,000, I believe, is what we budgeted for that initially.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, yeah.
In the
We
basement,
budget so fast. It's
I
like
know.
rehabs just spend so much money.
Yeah,
You
it's
don't
a good
even-
learning lesson.
It is.
Yeah.
Definitely overestimate every time you're budgeting.
So that's why, I mean, it's good to have like passive income. So like us
helps finance
wholesaling,
it.
so it helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're not in the hole. But overall, I think we covered pretty much everything.
Right. So do you want to let them know kind of where we stand as of right now?
Yeah. So right now.
Here's a little bit of the drama. Not drama necessarily, but
No,
a little bit
it's
of the
drama.
headache.
It's
a little
drama.
Bit okay, drama. A little bit of the headache that we're experiencing at the moment
Man.
is that we have several contractors that we worked with in the past.
Yeah.
And we let this new guy, I won't say his name.
Yeah, no names.
No names. But
Yeah.
he did Unit 4 for us. And we kind of got a little taste of who this dude was, I guess you
Yeah.
could say. He does amazing work. Like
Yeah.
I cannot complain about his work whatsoever.
Quality good. Yeah.
Quality real good. Price also really good.
Yeah.
Not an issue.
Love the price.
But you know, with contractors, you can only get two of the three.
Right.
So it's either gonna be price, quality, or time.
Mm-hmm.
And he is missing that time one, man.
Man.
He is missing that.
Yeah, when he was working on the apartment 4,
Yeah.
like I know during the time like when it should have been done, I started going off.
Yeah.
Like I was on the phone like,
Yeah,
yo,
like-
you should have been done with this. We're not even gonna give you the other units as
Yeah,
we,
yeah.
spoke about. And so we kind of got into it. And then I was like, all right, Skyler, you're gonna have to handle this. I'm gonna keep my cool. I'm gonna take a step back, and then you handle it.
Yeah, I kind of came in with a little bit more of a calm demeanor, I guess
Yeah.
you could say. Be like, bro, like, what's going on? Like, why is it taking you so long?
Yeah.
You got some issues in the family, with the work company. You got too much work.
Because
going
I was
on?
like, I don't want people to think they can take advantage of us at all.
Right, of course.
Number one, because like I'm a female in the business, and there's not a lot of
People can
females.
Yeah,
And number two, we're young.
exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, nah, we ain't playing around. Like you need to get this
You gotta put him
done.
in his place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he did. He ended up going over about a month over our time frame
Mhm.
for that unit.
Yep.
And at this point, we're like, I don't know if we should give him the next.
But
the
we
next
were
unit.
like, when we walked it, we were like, wow, this is good.
Exactly,
We
like-
like it. That put us on a high.
Yeah.
Right. And we are like, nah, let's just give him this next unit.
Right. So we gave him apartment 3, the one that was really bad,
Mhm.
and we gave it to him about a month ago.
Probably over a month
little
ago. Yeah.
And he just started yesterday.
Yeah, like come on now. And our other contractor, we had him work on the other unit. We
Yeah.
gave him that like 2 weeks ago, and he's about to be done today.
Yeah, I know.
Like-
he's amazing. So
Yeah.
he does price and he does time.
Mhm.
We're gonna find out about quality once he's done.
Right.
Because if anything like that.
But he's been doing good. He's been doing
Yeah,
good.
he's been doing amazing.
Yeah.
He helped us fix the balcony on 18th Street and a couple other small things, which was all really good work.
Mhm.
We are having that little bit of a drainage issue with the
Yeah,
rain and everything.
that we'll have to figure out. But
We'll get-
that's
we'll get that
that's all
figured out.
good.
That's not really his fault either, honestly.
But yeah.
So yeah.
And then you started for the other one that we're having a problem
Oh,
with.
so I
You started getting mad. So I was like, I was like, I'm gonna
So-
let you handle it this
so,
time,
yeah,
and then I'm keeping my cool.
Right. So I tried to keep my cool, and I did for the most part, to be honest.
Yeah.
But on the phone, I was like, you know how Stephanie is, and I'm supposed to be talking to you about this, and she's gonna be on my behind if you don't get this settled. So
Yeah.
what's going on? And he started diving deep into like a little bit of the family issues and personal
Mhm.
issues that he ran into. And his excuse on the last unit was that like 2 of his work trucks broke down, so he was having issues with those for like
Yeah.
a week each. So he does have his reasons, and it is what it is.
Mhm.
There's nothing we can really do about that.
Yeah.
But he better get this damn unit
It's
done.
just the stuff
he
you
said
have
it-
to go
He
through.
said yesterday? He was
Mhm.
like, I'll be done in 2 weeks with this one. I'm like, all
It
right.
should have been today's the 6th. It should have been done today.
It should have been done today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh well, it's something we run into.
lessons
but-
you learn with contractors. Gotta love them.
Right. So, well, we didn't really explain how our other contractor
Mhm.
even started on apartment 4, because we ended up giving previous tenant a notice there as well, even though that wasn't.
Which one? Oh, no, that's apartment 2.
Oh, sorry, that
Yeah,
is
yeah,
apartment
yeah.
2. I'm getting mixed up.
Oh yeah. So we did have to.
We didn't have to go through the eviction process.
We didn't
again.
have to go through the eviction process,
kinda
but
told 'em, like-
another tenant did leave.
Right, exactly. So we were
Yeah.
just kind of told him like, hey, like, the business is really looking to get this rent,
Mhm.
and we are more than happy to let you stay here because you. Do
Why
take-
we renovate it too, like make
right,
it.
we told him we come
look
in,
good.
we'd actually renovate it for him, like while he was still staying there.
Right.
Not really be too much in the way, well, as little as possible,
Mhm.
and we would just need him to come up to this rent. And he kind of just let us know. He was like, I just can't.
He's
afford
like,
it."
peace.
Yeah, he said, I just can't do that rent.
I
I'm
was like, okay.
that's okay, like not a problem. Like here's your
Yeah.
notice. Like please try to be out by this date.
Right.
He was on it. He
Man,
called-
he was out like a couple days before.
Yeah, it was crazy because I went to
Yeah.
go like check up on him like a couple days beforehand just to see where he was. And when I
Yeah.
knocked on the door, everything was the exact same.
Yeah.
There was nothing that was packed up in boxes. He didn't really have a place to go yet.
Yeah.
And then like the day before his, like 2 days after that,
Mhm.
the day before the actual notice was up, he
Yeah.
was like, hey, I just called over the electric, so they switched it to your name now.
I was
and,
like, perfect.
I'm out of there. I'm
Yeah.
like, you're out already? Like, you got everything? He was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I got everything. Went up there, checked it out. Man was gone.
Yeah.
He was not playing
So
games.
easy for us.
Yeah, he was amazing. Love that guy.
Yeah, shout out to him.
I hate not being able to say names because like
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like it makes it a little bit.
I mean,
more-
like I hope I think they probably moved in with family.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think
Most
so.
likely because
They
their mom-
moved out so fast, so I believe they had a good place to go.
Yeah, I think so too. And they didn't have
Yeah.
that much stuff to move, so it's understandable how they were able to accomplish that.
Yeah.
But that's how we got our other contractor in that unit about
Mm-hmm.
2-3 weeks ago, and he's killing it. He's almost done. He'll most likely be done by probably like this upcoming like Tuesday.
Not today. I was just talking to him.
He's done
He's shooting for tonight. Yeah.
for tonight.
So we'll see. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean the
He's
overall.
killing it.
He is. But for the overall project, I mean, our goal is to refinance
To do
by
the burst strategy.
February or March. So we're gonna
Right.
stick with our private financing and just pay that interest
Yep.
since we'll be fine.
which is 11% interest only. On
Yeah.
Private financing, which is I'd say on the better side when it comes to private lending.
And I don't want to say what we'll cash out at, like our goals, because man, we thought we were gonna cash out on this 18th Street one, but it's
We
been
still
something.
got hopefully a free house,
Yeah.
most likely. But
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
we're still
you know?
expecting a little payday bonus at the end, and it didn't work out. But
Mhm.
it is what it is, and I mean we're not finished with the process yet. They're still going back over the numbers and
Right.
running the new comparables that we sent them.
So
So we'll see how that works out. But on this one, not even fingers crossed. I know that we're gonna do amazing.
it's gonna be
It's
good.
gonna be a free property. It's
Yeah.
gonna be completely renovated at the end of the day.
And we're gonna use that money to buy other properties.
Use that money to buy other properties,
Mhm.
and it's gonna cash flow.
Yeah.
So we can just take that money, put it right back into the business, and pay everything that needs to be done.
Yeah. So that's basically it.
That's pretty much it for the 5 units. So we are now at a total of 7 units. Some more on the way.
Yep.
A couple single families we got going on.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
But that's, I guess, it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed
If you have
kind
any
of
questions,
the
please-
backstory.
I know we might be a little bit all over the place because we're still coming back into the whole podcasting thing, and
Yeah.
it's not as smooth as it could be or once was.
Mhm.
But it's okay. If you guys have any questions or if you were confused at any point, please feel free to comment your
Comment down
questions
below.
down below,
Yeah.
and either myself or Stephanie will get back to you as soon as possible with a good answer, hopefully.
Yeah. Make sure you guys go subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.